What's up, everybody? My name is Anton Kraley. My company is Dropship Lifestyle. I've been building, growing, and selling online stores since 2007. I've been helping others to do the same since 2012. And in our community of Shopify sellers, the hot topic right now is definitely the tariff war and how to avoid it. So I wanted to record an episode for you where I cover a few different things. First, what's actually happening and the impact on pricing. Then we are going to talk about what this actually means for sales for your online store. And then, of course, how to avoid this as much as possible to make sure your profitability can continue. Now, you might have seen it, but I actually posted a video back in November of 2024 when Trump was just elected. And that was called How Trump's Presidency Will Affect Shopify Sellers. A lot of what I predicted in that video did come true, but there are also some changes, some things I wasn't expecting, and some things I want you to be aware of before we move forward. First things first, Trump was inaugurated for his second term in January of 2025, and that is when he signed the first executive order regarding tariffs. They went into effect on February 1st, 2025, and then we had a 10% duty on all imports from China. Now, this is in addition to the previous tariffs that already existed from his first term. Then, not much changed for a while besides a lot of talk. In April of 2025, there were new Section 301 tariffs announced. Then the big change was on April 9th of 2025, and that is when tariffs were raised to 145% on imports from China to the US. That is the one that scared a lot of people. But then just a couple weeks later, on April 24th, 2025, there started to be signals of easing, meaning lowering. And then on May 9th, 2025, Donald Trump tweeted out or truthed out, I'm not sure what he's using now, but he put out a proposal to reduce tariffs on imports from China to the US to 80%. Now, 80% is still high, but I think everyone will agree it is much better than 145% that we are currently experiencing. So yeah, as you just saw, the past several months have been a roller coaster. And who's to say if we extended that chart out another 3 months or 6 months, it doesn't go from the current proposed 80% down to 40% and then back down to 25%. The truth is, again, nobody knows, but what we do have now is at least context so that as I take you through the 3 most important things I want to share, we can all be on the same page. And again, that first thing I want to share is the impact on pricing. So basically, the way this works is you have the factories in China that manufacture the products, and then you have the USA warehouses where products are stored before they ship to customers. So what we've been seeing is the US warehouses, at least the ones we work with, many of them have not had to restock items since April 9th, which, by the way, at the time I'm recording this, if you're watching it in the future, was 1 month ago. And again, April 9th is when that massive tariff went into effect of the 145%, which means, the prices are the same because the US warehouses haven't paid any more yet. But how this has affected pricing for the people that are importing directly is huge because now everything they've brought in for the past month that has to ship from China to their warehouses in the US or their fulfillment centers, this is when it gets hit. Before it gets to the US warehouse, that is when you have to pay all these extra tariffs and duties, and that is where their prices, the importers' prices, go up in a massive way, or at least have for the past month. And that is why you're seeing a lot of items actually sell for more money. You're seeing price increases because the companies are now paying more for those same products in the form of tariffs. Now, one thing I want to throw out there, because I have spoken to so many different people that do what we do, which is drop shipping for companies that have stock in US warehouses. But I've also spoke with people who import their products directly and sell them direct to consumer. And one thing that I have heard that might be good news for you if you are a direct importer is that because the orders from China to the US have dropped so much in the past month since this tariff has went into effect, there are now many different factories in China that are offering DDP, which stands for Delivery Duty Paid. And basically what that means is the factory in China, that company, assumes all responsibility for shipping, for insurance, and for the duties. So they're basically covering it as a way to keep their sales up because, again, many of these US warehouses, even the ones that need inventory now, that sell direct to consumer have slowed down on their ordering because they want to wait for tariffs to go down. So because of that, again, a lot of factories in China, this is for the people that import directly, remember that, are now offering DDP, which means they will cover those fees. Not everybody, but they definitely are out there. I'm hearing it more and more. So if you are a direct importer, ask your factories if they offer DDP. Save yourself some money. And again, if they have seen their order volume go down, you could probably get some discounts, have them assume that cost, and get products at what you've been paying. Next, I want to talk about what this means for sales, because a lot of the questions I've been getting is, how is this affecting your business? And also, is this still worth it? Can you still be profitable with dropshipping, specifically with the dropship lifestyle method, with these tariffs? So first, what I'm going to do is share exactly what I'm seeing in my own businesses. And then I also will share what I've learned by surveying the dropship lifestyle community, just to make sure that they were seeing the same thing and I wasn't, alone on an island somewhere. So for me, I have not seen any differences yet. No change in pricing, nothing at all, but that is for a very specific reason. Like I was talking about before, the brands that we sell for, they have products in stock in US warehouses, right? And remember, that massive 145% tariff only went into effect, I guess it was 30 days ago, because I'm recording this on May 9th, and it went into effect on April 9th. So literally a month ago. And for me, my suppliers have not had to reorder any stock in that past month, meaning the products that I'm selling are already there in their warehouses. And once they're there, there's no extra tariff. It's not retroactive. Now, the next time that they bring products in from China, then yes, they will be subject to whatever the tariff rate is at that time. But so far, it hasn't happened. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do when it does, but so far it is just business as usual. Now, when surveying the dropship lifestyle community, everybody else besides one person said the same is true for them. They have not seen any price increases, any changes. It's business as usual. But one dropship lifestyle member said that two of his suppliers raised the wholesale cost for him by 25%. Now, two suppliers, it might sound like a lot, but just keep in mind the average dropship lifestyle store has over 20 suppliers they sell for. So it is a small percentage, but it still is a 25% increase in wholesale cost for those products. So let's actually go now and talk about, what this does mean for sales. So I'm going to break it down really simple with a chart I put together here. And let's just go through actual product pricing. Now, the way we do business is we pay for products after we sell them. And when we pay for them, what we are paying is the wholesale cost. Again, we're authorized retailers to sell for multiple brands. And after we make a sale, we then pay our COGS, our cost of goods sold, the price to the supplier, AKA brand, for that product. And let's just use a hypothetical product for this example, and we will call it product number 1. And let's say pre-tariffs, right, pre-price hikes from a supplier, this wholesale cost of this product was $500. Well, the next thing we look at is MAP. And MAP stands for minimum advertised price. This is the lowest that we as retailers can list this product for, and not just us, but all of our competitors as well. And MAP is a multiple of wholesale. On average, 2x. What that means is if, again, pre-tariffs, pre-price hike, the wholesale cost was $500, MAP, what we sell to customers for, would be $1,000. When a customer goes to our store, that's what they are paying us. So what that means is our gross profit, very simple calculation here, MAP, what we sell it for minus wholesale, would be $500. That's what we would make per sale before, obviously, any other expenses. But let's look now with this 25% price increase, what the actual pricing looks like. So for wholesale, if it goes up 25%, like it did for two suppliers from that one dropship lifestyle member, that means for the same exact product, the wholesale cost is now $625, okay? Now, you might be thinking, I'm gonna make $125 less per sale. I don't wanna do that, that doesn't sound fun. Well, remember, MAP is a multiple of wholesale. So if you take 625, 2x that, what do we get? Well, that product now has a MAP price of $1,250. That's what that product will now be listed at on our store and, again, all of our competitor stores. And what this actually means is the profit that we're going to make when we sell it goes up. We now make $625 in profit instead of the previous $500. Now, you might be thinking, oh, wow, okay, I didn't think this was going to be good for me, but it's actually great because I'm making more money every time I get a sale. And while, yeah, it is great to make more money every time we get a sale, the one thing to keep in mind, right, how this is affecting sales for the Dropship Lifestyle member, and again, something that, I fully expect some of my suppliers to implement a price increase similar. The one thing that I mentioned in that Trump video 5 months ago now that, is definitely true is that what everybody should realize is that when these price increases, I should say if these price increases go into effect from any of your suppliers, I fully expect there to be a period, maybe from 2 to 4 weeks, where you are seeing sales for that product drop. Now, why is that? It's because a lot of people that are buying within the first, usually for us, it's 3 to 5 days, but definitely within the first 30 days that they find the product on our store. And just imagine, this was you. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. If you were on a website today and you had a product in your cart for $1,000, maybe a standing desk, and you were going to buy it, in a few days, right? And then you went back to that website, and now instead of $1,000, you see that it's $1,250. And you're like, wait a minute, that's, it's a lot more than I was just going to spend on it. Then you go on Google and you search for that product and you see it's $1,250 everywhere because of MAP. Well, maybe you don't want that product anymore, right? Because it kind of feels bad having to spend more money on something that you were just about to buy for less money. Now, again, what I expect to happen, it hasn't happened to us yet, but what I expect to happen is, again, for there to be maybe a 2 to 4 week period where sales from suppliers where these increases go into effect will drop. But the reason I say only 2 to 4 weeks and not forever is because, like I said, we're constantly getting new website visitors. Actually, about 80% plus of our website visitors are first-time visitors, and they typically are making a buying decision within 2 to 5 days. Definitely within 30 days. So basically the people that had been kind of waiting to buy, maybe they're not going to buy, definitely a percentage of them aren't, but then they're going to be replaced with new audiences of people that are now searching for the product. And if you're worried or concerned that new website visitors can't afford the products at a 25% price increase, I just want you to remember, this is America. In America, people will book luxury vacations on high-interest credit cards. In America, people without jobs spend $500 on Taylor Swift concert tickets and then pay an extra $140 in fees. In America, people will pay monthly for gyms for years without ever going through the door. In America, people will lease luxury cars for 0% down while they have no savings. In America, people will finance their DoorDash and Uber Eats orders. In America, people will find a way to get what they want when they want it. All right, sorry about that. Let's move on and let's talk about different ways to avoid the impacts of tariffs. Again, I think they're really going to last for the first 2 to 4 weeks of price increases. Again, that's how tariffs could potentially affect your business by having your products cost more money, aka sell for more money to your customers. So I have a list here of things that I'm doing that I want to take you through as well. And the first is to diversify. And diversify, what I mean by that is for the specific brands that you sell for or could potentially sell for, check the country of origin because you might not even know where your supplier's products are coming from. And typically suppliers will just have that information on the product sheets they send you. But if you don't know, you could just reach out to your suppliers and ask them what the country of origin is. If it's China, then you know. Okay, that's going to have the biggest tariffs. But if it's another country like Vietnam or India or Thailand, then you know the tariff impact is much, much less. So you don't even have to worry about those at all. And again, for them, it's business as usual. But one thing you can do, and that I'm planning on doing if we see, for example, those 25% increases for certain suppliers, what I'm going to do for those first 2 to 4 weeks that the prices go up is make a note on all of those product pages that had been affected on our store. And I'm going to say, if you're interested in something in X price range, check out these products. And then what I'm going to do is provide links to similar products on our store for the price that that product used to be. In that example I gave you earlier, let's say it was a standing desk that used to be $1,000 and now it's $1,250. What I'll do is post links to 2 or 3 other standing desks that are similar in quality, in size, basically something that, the customer would have the same experience with, but that still sell for $1,000. That gives the customer an option. Again, if they come back 2 weeks later, a month later, and they're like, hey, this thing was $1,000, now it's not. I still want one of these, but I don't want to spend this much. Well, now we're linking them to options straight on our site for that price or a price similar to what they already were looking at, and that can turn them into customers and, of course, still get you sales. Now, another big thing to keep in mind is controlling your ad spend. And what I mean by that is after these price increases go into effect, and again, if they do, I keep saying when, but since I haven't seen any yet, I can't say for certain I'm going to see it, but I am assuming so. So let's just say they do go into effect from my first supplier. When it comes to my ad spend for those products, initially, I'm not going to make any changes. I don't like to make any changes when it comes to ads until I have at least 2 weeks of data. So 2 weeks, let the ads run with the new price points, see how conversions are affected. And if you notice that for those products, the return on ad spend did go down, what I'm gonna do is temporarily lower the budget. I'll lower it for 2 to 4 weeks, and then I'll put it back up and see if we can maintain return on ad spend. So guys, I hope you found this one helpful. That is my update, again, 5 months after the first video, of what actually did come true from that and what we are doing to basically mitigate everything. Just so you know, I kind of come at this with like a very stoic philosophy. I just look at things for what they are. I'm going to adjust what I have to adjust. But as of right now, it is business as usual. And if things do change, I'm prepared to change because that's what I've been doing for my last 20 years in business. So as always, any questions, let me know. I'm here to help. And I will see you in the next video here from Dropship Lifestyle. Thank you, everybody.